Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's alongside my ride or die, Drew from Angelcake Entertainment. How are you doing today, Drew? And what do you think about this episode of Ride or Dies?
I'm doing quite well.
Yes.
And I liked it. I enjoyed this episode for the chaos that it brought, and then for the foreseeable chaos that it could bring in the future. Not only just because of what happened with Nelson and Fessel and Olivia, but also what the heck is going on with this twist that TJ was kind of alluding to at the end of this past week's episode that could possibly change the game as we know it. So my head is swirling right now.
Swirling. Head is swirling. Well, let's just talk about the twist. Like, I don't know. There's no real rules as to how we have our discussions on Fridays, especially because we're coming in on Friday in the afternoon. So everything can be different today. What do we think is going to happen?
I'll tell you right now. I was talking on my Tiny Table Talk episode that was put out today, Friday, and I came up with like 3 different theories. I'm not sold on any single one of like me being like 100% certain or
Mm-hmm.
even like maybe 75% certain. So I'm confused. I watched the launch special again. I don't know if it could be like a Bloodlines twist where they split all the duos into now 2 big teams where everybody has their ride or dies on separate teams, or if they could be swapping around people that you can't be with your original ride or die, so now you're swapping with somebody else's partner, or if it's going to be a completely different season format, kind of like what we saw last season, where it went from kind of
No,
like double agents to
I'll
then
say
turning
that
into
has to be a no.
cutthroat.
That has to be a
Well,
no.
not like
That
a
one.
3-team one. I'm talking about like a completely different team format. Like I was thinking of like, I don't know, free agents where all the dailies could be all different, where they could be running solo teams or duos. Cause I don't know, looking at some of the sneak peeks from the launch special, I'm all types of confused of what could happen.
Yeah, me too. Especially because we have so many episodes, right? Like we have what, like 14 episodes to go? 13, I guess now, at least.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, if we're
Well,
taking out the
two,
reunions
right, sorry, yeah.
and stuff,
Mhm.
then maybe it's going to be a little less, but we still got a ton of episodes left. If they're going for 22, like
So
that's
that's why I was kind of
crazy.
thinking that the bloodline twist wouldn't work because I mean I think it would work for this
Yeah.
format of the season, but they should have started it earlier, I would think, if that were what they
Mhm.
wanted to do, right? Because with the bloodline twist, I do like that, you know, if you suck, your bloodline goes with you. Like that your ride or die leaves with you if you aren't able to like hold your own weight. So I think that would be a decent twist, but it still would make 2 people leave per episode. And I do think that they have to be changing to a male leaving, then a female leaving, just to eat up some of these episodes.
Yeah, that's where I was like not fully sold on the Bloodlines twist because I there has to be something where it's only one person going home every single week. But in a season like this, I don't understand how they can do that unless you're looking for a new partner during the season and you can stay in the game even if your original partner leaves. So I'm all types of confused at what could happen because
No,
I keep coming back to people need to be paired up, you know?
yes. Well, and with your ride or dies, it doesn't, the whole theme of the season doesn't really pay off for me if they decide to split up the ride or dies, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see them individually running the final at all. Like, I want to see their ride or dies be someone that could be an anchor for them or whatever. Like, you know, Jordan getting to run the final by himself and not having to deal with Anissa. Like, that's kind of, I don't know. I just don't think it's fair, really.
It definitely takes away the whole thing of the season, the whole theme of the season if
Yeah.
they don't partner back up later down the line if everybody is being split up. I mean, this is all hearsay. We don't know if they're actually being split up or
Mhm.
anything, but it it's just weird. It's just weird trying to think about it and trying to put it into context of the season because there's no way they can just go solo for the rest of the season, in my opinion. It just makes no absolute sense to me. That's where I'm like, I keep getting caught up and I can't lock into, oh, this definitely is what it is, or this is definitely where they're leaning to, because I just don't know.
So what we kind of came to the conclusion that we hope it is and that it might be is pretty basic, that instead of putting 4 people into the zone, it's going to go back to, if you suck in the daily, you're going directly in, and the duo that wins would send the team in to compete with them, against them, which is pretty basic. But maybe it would then still be a male week or a female week, and then maybe they can pick a new partner. Hold on, how did that work again when they did that? Someone has no partner if their partner goes home.
Yeah, that would mean that somebody is just free for the week. Kind of like in
Right.
Double
Oh, yeah.
Agents.
Yeah, exactly. Double agents. And then eventually you'd get a new partner.
Yeah. I don't know, but if anything, if you can lose your ride or die and stay in the game, I mean, Jordan has to be doing somersaults. Like, come on now. Like, he has to be excited if that's going to be the case.
He's going to be leaping from car to car with keys.
No more of these, like, what's the deal with you and Jordan? And then having to come up with, like, oh, well, we were on I was on his first season and we kind of knew each other and talked. Like, what was, let's just stop making that happen. Let's just not, take that out. We all know that it's not real. Let's move on. Come on now.
Well, also, though, I don't know why that they have to try to lie to us about this, right? Like we have done enough research to know that they're not ride or dies, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
So just be like, we're saying this as well on the recap. We're just like, why don't you just be like, okay, both of our partners were not able to compete, and so we know each other. We've done many seasons together, so we felt that we could maybe support each other in this game. We don't need to lie and be like, and make a segment where the person's like, yeah, we need to make this make sense. So can you guys pretend like you're having a conversation about Jordan and your relationship?
It makes no sense, especially when you have no video footage to back up anything that he is talking about. The one thing that they have from a previous season,
it's her yelling at him.
Her and Jordan, was Dirty 30 after the rap battle scene, where Jordan pissed off the whole house, including Anissa. And then the only good scenes that they have is from this season. After they've won, they've hugged each other after a daily challenge, or being like, that's the only time they have been supportive of each other. So don't act like, oh, we knew each other for 10 years and he's kind of like a brother to me. No, y'all aren't that close. Let's just be real. Y'all ain't that close.
Not at all. Especially if your best friend and him broke up and haven't spoken in a year and a half. Chances are Anissa has not been in contact with him for the last year and a half. I just do not see, like, usually if your best friend breaks up with someone, like, it's like, sorry, like, she's my girl, like, bye. So yeah, they definitely are not ride or dies. We know this. We do have some ride or dies here in the chat. We have JL, watching us at work, which I always support. Hi, lovable Nikki. Rodrigo's here, chasing K. Hey, y'all. Hi, Sidani Speak. So happy Friday, y'all. Excited to hear your thoughts. I, for one, found this episode boring. I mean, I can understand finding this episode a little bit boring for the fact that we kind of knew what was going on, but like, I liked it. Like, I enjoyed watching it. I was just like, here's Nelson again making a terrible mood. Here's Fessie again being entitled to something that, like, I mean, okay, yeah, you're shaking your head. What's your thoughts about the whole Fessie, Nelson, Olivia triangle dynamic of it all?
Well, I thought it was super frustrating with Fessel overall. I mean, the fact that he was coming into this week already nervous that Jordan and Anissa won, but hoping that somehow that his past history with Anissa would get him out from being nominated. He's never been nominated so far in this game. And now he's like throwing a temper tantrum in the room after Anissa, whom he was talking mad smack about in Double Agents, when he didn't want to be a partner at all any single time. Like, he was counting down the days that he could finally sneak away and
Right.
leave her in the dust. Yet here we are in 38, and he's thinking, oh, well, we have a history with each other. Like, hopefully she will have enough pull with Jordan. And she's in the one going, let's go big. Let's send Fessel in and just nominate him. And I was like, yes, that's the right answer. Just do
Please.
that. Don't target Amber and Chauncey. Like, that's dumb. Also, Fessel is super close with Jay and Nelson. So if you're trying to split up some of those numbers, then that was the right thing to do. So I hated how he was like coming off like, oh, Anissa's on a power trip. And
Oh,
who cares,
when he
dude?
said that, like he said that about her before, and it's just
Yeah.
like he's just so disrespectful. And like, I don't think that she was on a power trip. I think that they're probably not allowed to say definitively who they're throwing into the zone and stuff like that. I feel like that's probably like a unwritten rule of production. I know, like
Yeah.
for instance, in Big Brother US, you're not allowed to say who you're going to be nominated. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're not allowed to say like, "Hey, you're not going to go into the zone specifically." Like they can allude to it, but I don't think they're allowed to flat out say that. So the fact that he's like on saying like, "Oh, she's on a power trip," probably because she hasn't been like, "Hey, we're not sending you in. Don't worry, and we're leaving you with two teams that are probably going to choose you to stay in the game." Like, I was like, oh, actually, not two teams, but one team, anyways. So were you surprised that Nelson decided to save Fessy when he had just like the perfect excuse to say, "Hey, let's just make things even. People are expecting me to get some revenge on you. I know that we kind of smooth things under the rug, whatever, but like, I'm going to save my girl Olivia here. She hasn't done me anything wrong. She's kept me, she's been working with me this whole time. I want to save my relationship right now."
I'm not surprised. One, because it's Nelson.
It's Nelson.
And we know his kind of thought processes on a lot of things, and nothing can be easy. As an audience member, I would have loved him to take that shot and just send Fessel in. However, after rewatching it a couple of times and kind of get into the mindset of Nelson, I can understand why he decided to save Fessel, and it's for the long run in like his challenge career. I mean, he's known Fessy way longer. They're on good terms. Uh, Olivia and Horacio are kind of like in the no man's land here now, moving forward in the game. I mean, they are a team. They're the only rookie team. They've been nominated a ton of times. They've seen now 3 eliminations, and I can see like Nelson being like, I have to go with Fessel, who is a little bit more connected, who has won a
I get
daily.
it.
Maybe
I
he'll
get it.
win again. And
I get it.
and yeah.
But like, I would have been salivating to see him. Okay, what we were also saying when we did the recap, we're like, oh, I bet you if it was like a hall brawl, he would be like, I'll do a hall brawl against Jay. Like, I'm sure that he'd be super excited to like throw himself into the zone or into the actual elimination, which I was like, that's so annoying. As soon as like he saw that it was not something that he was innately physically going to be great at, he was like, oh, I can feel my heart coming out of my chest. Oh my god, like I'm like so nervous to go down. So that's why I'm saying that I think Pussy Chicken needs to come back on the tier board, because Bessie's a pussy chicken. He did not want to go down into the zone to do a Tower of Hanoi puzzle. And I think that it would have been great, though, also, if Fessy and Mariah went down, because I don't think that anybody would have been screaming to help them out, and we would have been able to see this elimination the way it was intended. I don't think that they would have been, anybody would be cheering for them. Would you? Do you?
I think they could be. I think they would have helped out Fessel. At least Casey would want Fessel to come back in, which makes me think that Nani
Casey's not good
would
at
want to
puzzles,
help
though,
him
I don't
out.
think.
Also, Bananas and Nani know exactly where they stand with Jay and Michelle, and that is in the draw, going to be sent into elimination, basically. Whereas Fessel's never did them really anything wrong. So I feel like they still would have helped out. And I think that goes into also Nelson's idea of, even if I send Fessel in there, he's probably going to be coming back. And I don't want him to be pissed off with me and then rally Casey after me and Nani and possibly everybody else. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit thinking that, but
it's a lot of credit. Sorry, I rolled my eyes
thinking.
hard there.
Very, very, very.
You're right, Chasing. Bananas would probably help out Mariah. Did you catch the kiss on camera? And Banana breaks the fourth wall and looks, did you catch that on camera? So we get some actual footage of them dating, even though we've heard about them. We had that one confessional by Mariah earlier on the season where he's not really her type, but, she's kind of feeling him. I also learned that Mariah does not want to have any PDA on camera because her family watches the show. And so that is
Makes
one
sense.
of the reasons as to why their relationship hasn't been displayed as much. I immediately thought it was because Bananas loves keeping his relationships under wraps. But it seems as though it's because Mariah wants it to be a little more hush-hush.
Yeah. And how boring was that birthday party? One of the most boring parties I think we've ever seen on the challenge. And Bananas wants to act like this is like one of the best moments I've ever had on. It's like, come on, dude. Stop trying to hype it up. We get it, but
what I did like about it was everybody throwing the pillows at him.
Yeah.
I did mention that it reminded me of old school. And the pie in the face, but like old school, after people read the T-Mobile clue, they would all throw pillows at the person. So
yeah,
I liked that. It was just brought me back to like 15 years ago, Cute.
That was really good. It took me back to remembering how Angela, I think it was Angela, got really pissed off after she came in with a clue from TJ, and she instantly wanted to like fight the whole house and cry and want to walk out. It's like, this is your first clue reading. Like, this is a rite of passage. Come on now.
It is a rite of passage. I also love that. So we have some suggestions for new tiers. So Natalie is saying, can we change Sunday at Grandma's to go home for Casey and Kenny? We could workshop this title, but they are really, really pissing me off. I'm really mad.
I bet. Somebody
mad.
commented in my review and recap video saying they felt bad for you because of Casey and Kenny this episode not getting any confessionals and then ultimately DQing, meaning they've net you negative points this episode. I was like, oh man, that's somebody who is dedicated and being like, I feel bad.
I feel bad. I forgot that we get negative points for DQing. Well, hopefully, is it you or Chris that has Nelson? So at least they
Chris.
Okay. It can't be you? Jeez Louise. No.
Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be you. Yeah, Willie's here. Casey and Kenny have done nothing good this season. Absolutely nothing. And it's almost going to be comical at this point. Now, maybe I'm going to shoot the moon. Have you ever played Hearts?
Yes.
Or Spade. I don't know if it's Hearts or Spades. They're similar. But what is the one where you shoot the moon?
I think it's
Spades.
Isn't it both?
Hearts? It might be Hearts.
I haven't played either in so long, but I remember playing Hearts a lot.
Well, you know what shoot the moon is, right?
Yeah.
It's when you try to do as poorly as possible, basically, to win. So maybe this is my new, I want to see how wide a stretch that you could beat me on for having the worst possible combination of players to make me have the least amount of points. So
I don't know. Amber's coming in with a lot of confessionals now. So
I'm still going to be in third place. There's no way that I'm going to make up like unless you lose all your players and I still have mine. There's no chance that I can beat you. I don't think. So we're shooting the moon. We're shooting the moon.
I will say I had the thought today when doing while rechecking the fantasy points. I was sitting there going like, if everybody gets split up into two teams, like daily wins become almost useless at this point. Like it'll come down to more of the confessionals and all the other stuff, because if everybody gets split up into two teams like Battle of the Bloodlines twist moving forward, like everybody's gonna just win daily challenge points because everybody has half their teams on each thing. So
that's true.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
That would be weird. Yeah. How can we? I don't know if we can fix that. I don't think we can.
I was thinking if we were doing it like we were doing it the past few seasons where we had Chris with us, I mean, we could have just done another schoolyard pick after next episode. If they were to split, we could have had a schoolyard pick of like picking people. But
can we? I need to get rid of this team.
Well, not anymore, because We don't have the third person. We don't have a third person to pick for Chris's team.
Well, we could rope Chris into talking to us once. It's not like we're like have no idea who he is and where to find him. I'm sure we could find him.
We could talk about it. We could talk about it afterwards, especially once we know what the twist is.
We need to know what the twist is.
Yeah, that's the main deal. Like, we don't know what it could be about, but that's what I was thinking. Just split everybody back up.
I mean, I just need to get rid of Casey and Kenny. Like, I feel like they're worse for my team. I'd rather them just not be there. Like, if they're getting me negative points, they would be terrible.
I mean, from where you drafted them to where they would be redrafted if we were to do a school year pick, like, everybody would be like, no, don't give it to me. No, I'll take Anissa. No, don't give me Casey and Kenny.
Anissa any day at this point.
I'll take Mariah. She gets one confessional at least. Like, yes. I'll take Mariah.
Give me Mariah. Like, oh my gosh. So how do we feel about Casey and Kenny skating by terribly, Natalie? It's just really frustrating because, like, she's an ex-champ or a previous champ. Like, she's dating one of the stars of the franchise, and she's bringing absolutely nothing to, and she's so well protected. Like, just nothing though. Like, I would love to hear them strategizing. I'd love to hear them throwing a party. I would love to hear them talking about their family life. I don't know anything. I just want something, and they give me nothing.
You would think, like, well, I mean, Bananas isn't getting a lot of screen time right now, but you would think, like, this would be the perfect time with how well you're connected that you could just do whatever you want. You could have, like, so many different conversations with people. You could maybe want to stir the pot. I mean, we think about Wes, or if Bananas, or somebody that has who is well integrated into the game. If they had this kind of level of protection that Casey has, they would just be having a field day. They would be wanting to stir up everything that they would want, knowing that there are no repercussions. Like, they have so much help behind them. Yet Casey doesn't even have, like, an on-screen persona, isn't shown anywhere. Like, do something fun. Have a good confessional. Try some new stuff out. Like,
yeah, like, okay. So, for instance, with Survivor, you watch Survivor, I believe. And yes. What I've been noticing, and maybe it's just this new era, or maybe it's always been there, but it's just a little bit more rampant now. But in those tribal councils, everybody has, like, analogies on the tip of their tongue. Like, they're just like, and it's to throw you under the bus and blah, blah, blah. And this one's checking counterfeit money. And this one is talking about the peanut characters, like, whatever. Like, everybody has all these analogies to bring into confessionals and to bring into these tribal councils. I think there needs to be a confessional school that Casey needs to go to, and her brother, to at least come up with something. You know, you got Ride or Dies as the theme. I want every single time you relate something to Ride or Dies that's happened this episode, Casey and Kenny. And let's see where we can go from there.
Well, think of this too. They brought up that they are the only bloodline siblings, and that they are the only ones actually connected via family link. Like, why are there no puns to this? Or you could play this up. You're the only two people that can make jokes on each other. Like, when Kenny dropped the keys this week to DQ them, there could have been a confessional of, like, I can't wait to, like, I'm going to brag on you for the rest of time for fumbling those keys, because I would have never done that, Kenny. Like, I'll see you at the Thanksgiving Christmas or Christmas table or something like that. Like, you could have said something. Yeah, about family ties or whatever. Like, that could have been a running joke throughout the season, but
I guess, are they just not fun or funny? Is that what it is? Like, or creative, or so Sophie's talking about who was under a blanket? Audrey? Was it Audrey? Blanketing was Audrey, so. I think. Well, I just think that they need to have somebody teach them how to be interesting. Yeah. Oh, Casey's win does have an asterisk. You're right, lovable Nikki.
Yes.
Okay, we have 12 episodes left. That's insane to me.
12 episodes. So many.
What are your thoughts of there being an unseen redemption house type thing that they have been competing, and that we'll see maybe 3 episodes of what happened in the redemption house.
That would be super interesting. Like, I think that I didn't think of the 3 episodes. I just thought of like them walking back in or something and competing to stay in the house or whatever. But I mean, if that's it, I am one that's not a big fan of redemption houses just because if you're gone, just stay gone. But I think that would make a lot of sense. And there's some teams that I actually miss that I would like to see come walking back into the game. Kim and Colleen.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Casey or Kaylee and Kayla. I mean, I can't even get her name right. Sam.
It's been forever.
I can't even make her name right for a joke.
I mean, that is the joke. It's like she was so like whatever that you can't even remember her name.
I only just remember that it's spelled interestingly. Okay, let's see if there's any more comments before we get into our tiers. Do you have any tiers that you want to bring to the table?
I don't have anything for this week. I'll be honest. I came up with so many last week that I just put it on autopilot this week. I couldn't think of anything. Nothing interesting happened or was said this week that got me thinking like, yeah.
I know. We're not even seeing her relationship with Nani.
We saw enough of it last season.
I can't. Sonati, don't make me upset here. I know Sam and Kayla have more confessionals than Casey and Kenny, and they have been gone since episode 1. We're 8 episodes in, and there's still, it would have been a better pick for me if I'd picked them over these two. I mean, maybe I did have them, though. I don't remember.
Because I gave them to him as sabotage.
That's it.
I mean,
sabotage.
Casey and Kenny would have been a great sabotage team.
Like, I didn't realize it. Like, I picked them so high. Oh my gosh. I'm so embarrassed. Mortified. I can't believe who is it that's sad for me? Do you remember?
I can't remember their name, but I just remember that when I got a notification of it, I was like, oh, they're so nice. At least they watch both review and recap and these power rankings. But yeah.
I agree. I do wish we saw Sam more. Sam was interesting. Sam was the interesting part of their duo, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Sophie says Wes gets mentioned almost every episode and he isn't even there. That's true. I don't know. Did he get mentioned this episode?
Did he get mentioned this episode?
I don't think so.
I feel like I would remember if he was pointed out this week.
I don't remember, but let us know if we're wrong. Christina was saying, I said the same thing. Do you think that the shouting would have been so one-sided if Fessie had been in the elimination with Jay? Drew was saying that most likely people would have helped out Fessie because he has Casey and then Casey would then in turn have Nani, and Nani in turn would have bananas like with Mariah. So chances are they would be trying to get that team to come in, and hearing people cheering for you, I think it's also a strategic tactic because it's like, oh, we wanted you to stay. We were doing what we could to make you stay. And so hearing people's voice, I think it will subconsciously and consciously be like, hey, they want to work with me. And so yeah, I think that he would have been helped now. I've been convinced. You're right. Christina said that they got a lot of vets want Fessie out, but I don't think that they would. Oh, well, maybe they would just let him be and not help him that much.
I'm not fully convinced that a lot of people or a lot of the vets want Fessie out. I think they see him as a threat. I think they see him and Mariah as a physical threat. Like they don't want to see them in a physical elimination against each other. But I also think that if you're nominated, kind of like with Jordan and Anissa and Olivia and Horacio, if you're nominated once, you're going to be nominated more and more and more. So I think they want that ball to be rolling a little bit. Like, hey, nominate these 2 people. They haven't even seen the nomination board. Like, make them sweat a little bit. Make people think that maybe we should nominate them.
Yes.
Kind of thing. So I think that's also a big part of it.
I want them in the hot seat. Like I can't stand him just like just getting by, and it's so he's also really boring and annoying, and so I'm like, at least put him in the hot seat, even though I don't want more confessionals from him.
Which also is like makes me frustrated when we heard it this week, and we've heard it a couple of times in the past a little bit. But when Nelson and Fessel are talking in the beginning, Nelson says something to the fact of like, "Oh yeah, you and I have done our rookie seasons, and on our rookie seasons, we were nominated a ton of times." And I'm like, "Not Fessy. Fessel wasn't nominated a ton. Like his rookie season was like he was walking by. He got to face off against Jordan, but that was it. Like he never was really in the hot seat after that. So Nelson was for seasons. He was always being thrown in.
But he was like doing the
Fessel,
team
not so
Young Buck
much.
thing though, where he was like trying to go
Yeah.
against the powers that be, and was, obviously like they're gonna retaliate for sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't this before, or did this happen again this week?
It happened again this week.
Wow. Brutal. ESPN, that's hilarious.
Dan Orlovsky was yelling at Stephen A. Smith that he's too loyal to Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots going into last night's game against Buffalo, and he called them and said that you're like Nelson, you're too loyal when you need to just let it go and get your payback, kind of thing. So yeah,
That's pretty cool though. Like,
yeah, it is pretty cool.
I'm like, okay, so Rodrigo's saying that can we just call Casey and Kenny the cardboard siblings because they are only as interesting as a piece of cardboard? Ouch! I mean, I'm still into the Clark Furniture Company. I think that's really funny. Should that be a tier?
Yeah, that could be a tier. I'm cool with putting that one up. You know what? If I'm Casey and I'm hearing everybody, like the next season, if I'm being put on, I would pay to have a cardboard cutout made of myself and just put it in the like that would be so funny. Like that would show a lot of personality if you put it and you go, all right, see you guys later, and then walk out. Like that would
Or like,
that would be
and then
so
at
funny.
least like, well, then do like an like a voiceover of her confessional. But that would be very funny. I would give her so much props for that. I might even draft her if she did that.
I would give whoever drafted her the next season, because I'm pretty sure she would be coming back. I would give somebody 25 points, just straight up. Like that would be a bonus point if Casey would do something legit funny in a confessional.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Nelson is a better man than me. I would have stabbed Fessie in the back like Jordan said in his confessional. Absolutely. There's no way. I'd just be like, sorry, man. Like,
yeah.
Sorry. We're even after this. That's what I would say. All right. Well, let's get into our tiers. See if we want to do any changes here. So should we put back in Pussy Chicken? Because I need to put somebody there.
I mean, if you want to. I'm not a huge fan of it, but we can.
So we're leaving Built for Comfort? We didn't even get anything there.
I know. I love Built for Comfort, but I mean, Casey and Kenny would be going there.
Okay, well,
realistically,
we could leave it. Are we changing any of the other ones?
Well, what was said? I mean, if anybody's in the chat that something really popped out to you during the episode, I'm willing, because I just don't know what.
I agree with you, Christina. Like, I feel like I'm the only one that watches the challenge, and like I have all you guys now, absolutely. But for a while, it was like just me. I was the only person that I knew that watched the challenge. So yes, I am shocked that when I see like Drake watches it, I was like, really? Like Rihanna? I'm like, really? Like, it's shocking to me. So yes, I agree. Yes, Fessie probably would cry. All right, well, we can leave it the same until we maybe have something inspired, since you don't like Pussy Chicken.
What about Jordan had that great confessional about Jay getting his ice cream hit out of his hand, his balloon popping, and then cockroaches.
Knocked his. Wait, I wrote down.
Could that be a tier?
Somebody stole his toy, knocked his ice cream out of his hand, and popped his balloon.
Yeah.
The whole thing?
I don't know. Not the whole thing, but I don't know. That one was very memorable. I just didn't know if that could be a tier.
You can just do maybe popped his balloon. Are we gonna do the whole thing?
Yeah, that could be
That's
good.
actually fine. We can do it the whole thing. Where are we putting it? Let me remove all these so you're not influenced by who's there.
Do you want to do? We could either change scapegoat or Sundays at grandma's, I guess. Because if you get your balloon pop, that's not something fun or exciting.
Yeah, I'd say maybe Sundays at grandma. That could be.
Okay, that one has had a really good run, I would think.
All right. Okay, so Sundays at grandma is going to be this one.
Yeah, we could do that.
Somebody stole his toy. So his or should put there?
We can put there. Because we're going to put teams in here.
Exactly.
So we can put there.
Toys. Not there. Ice cream. Long ass tier.
Yeah.
Out of his hand. It's kind of funny, actually. Out of there.
Just the biggest tier is in the middle.
And like we won't put anybody there.
That'd be really funny if we didn't put anybody there. We didn't put anybody in that tier last week, I don't think either. Or no, we did. We didn't put anybody in.
But it was something in the week before. Popped there.
Is there anything else that was funny? Oh, suffocating and cake was a good one.
Okay. What does that mean?
I don't know where that would go. It would have to be a higher tier, I would think.
Is that swimming in circles? Like you're just so well insulated that you're just suffocating in cake?
We could do that.
All right.
I was getting tired of that tier anyways, the swimming in circles, but suffocating in cake, like, yeah, we could use it as like you're so well insulated, you can't even see out. Like yeah, that's good. It's too much of a good thing, almost like you're
it's like you're doing well, but
you have so many teams helping you out that you're not really being seen or anything.
All right. Well, let's start then. Where are you putting some of these people? Who are you starting with? What do you have to say about them?
I just love that one tier is ginormous. That is really good. I'm gonna do a layup here, and let's talk about Jay and Michelle since they're being eliminated, and I think that they should be at the very front of the eliminated tier.
100%.
Messy, did they make all the right moves? No. Was I sad to see them go? A little bit. If it wasn't at the expense of Olivia and Horacio,
sorry, Banana's birthday posters. That's quite funny because it was so bad, Naughty. like what?
That was so dumb. Let's be real. That was so dumb.
How much money he's won? 62 dailies. Like stat sheet sucked. It's so bad.
Why not just say we love you a bunch, Bananas? Like that's it. That's all you needed to say. Make it a pun.
Since when is she scared of pulling like a birthday cracker? Like what? Anyways, this we'll think about switching that in, Chasing.
Oh man, that was so bad. I hated that so much. Anyways.
Okay, sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's all good. With Jay and Michelle, were they messy? Yes. Did they make all the right moves? No, but that's what made them fun on the season. And they won 2 dailies, which was incredible. They should have made way better deals and way better moves, especially in their first go around with Power. Kim and Colleen leaving was such a bad move when you could have really put the vets on their heels. So I really enjoyed them this season for how much we were able to have a conversation about their moves, what they were able to do in the game, and make the vets sweat a little bit. So I appreciate for what they brought on the season, even though they made me so frustrated sometimes. I just really I really liked what they brought to the table this season. They weren't just in the background. They weren't being picked on as much. They were actually pushing around their weight a little bit on the season, and I appreciate them. Now, if they were going up against Fessel and Mariah and lost, I would have been like, oh man, we just lost Jay and Michelle. I really wish they would have stayed in, but because they were going up against Olivia and Horacio, and I would like to see them go farther into the game and see what they could do. I think it was their time to go, but I was sad to see them leave.
I was listening to Michelle on Bonanza's podcast this week, and one thing that she does say was that at least we didn't make any boring moves. Like we didn't want to necessarily be thinking about future seasons and future and thinking ahead, because like that'd be super boring. Like we wanted to make moves in the moment. Who cares what the outcome was going to be? And so that's kind of like why we played things this way. And like she kind of made me little bit understand where she's coming from with like their strategy. I do wish that I think they could have done both, right? I think that they could have gained the respect, because like I think that what the worst part of their game was that they lost respect to both sides. So vets and rookies, none of them really respected them anymore. And I appreciate them making the messy move. I appreciate them making moves that we get to talk about, that make tears about, laugh about, like shake our head about. Like obviously that makes a good contestant, is that like they bring something to the table to talk about. They get a confessional.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that definitely in the front of that is a good spot for them to be. I just wish that they made these moves that help them and then help them in the game for future seasons. Like I really was rooting for them to be a really good ride or die pair. I really had higher hopes for them than they actually, than how they actually did. But out of all the people that have left the game so far, I do think they brought the most to the table in terms of, they won them a lot of daily. I think the most dailies out of everybody that's been eliminated so far. They have created the biggest stir. So for sure, yeah, they're at the front of the pack here.
And they got close a couple of times, especially in this one. They were in the top 3 again, probably the top 2. I would say that they probably were right behind Jordan and Anissa. And if they had to meet in the middle, I think they would have won. Like if the woman had to like actually do something in the daily challenge, I think that they would have actually been able to pull out that win. But
with Slash though, maybe Nani might have been better than Michelle. Michelle seems tall. And I don't know, like tall could work, but also sometimes tall people are a little bit awkward. So but tall, I don't know. I'm not sure how tall Michelle actually is or how agile she is. We know she's been decent at things in Survivor, but it was mostly puzzles, if I'm not mistaken. She does a little kick to at the end.
True.
So I mean, I can't believe we're just completely counting out Anissa there, but I would. But yeah, how did you feel about the challenge being pretty much the guys winning the challenge for the team?
It was interesting, aesthetically pleasing, but it really was very one-sided and heavy-handed for the person that was doing the running, which it seemed like coming into this daily challenge, the rules were that the men had to do the running, because I think if they were given a choice, Casey would have done the running instead of finding the keys that were just zip tied or velcroed to the inside of the car in plain sight. Like that was, come on now, that's a joke to just grab the keys and then sit outside the windows.
It was so easy. I do wish like at the halfway point they would have switched and, to 2 and 2 or whatever. But they didn't, because I think that they were padding it for either Bananas or Jordan to win. A little bit conspiracy theory here, but, having them in the last spots and the fact that their partners didn't have to contribute, I just think that they wanted Johnny Bananas or Jordan to win. I think. Wait, what? I always thought that Michelle was around 5'2" or 5'4". I don't think so. Oh my God. Let me see. Michelle Fitzgerald heights. I feel like she's looks 5'8" to me.
I think she's the same height as Jay. So
Yeah,
whatever
she's
her
five
day
eight.
is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way she's a 5'2" person. No.
No, 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 no.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just she reads tall to me. Hilarious. Okay, so who am I gonna do now? Oh, you took the easy one. I should have went first. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-bum-bum. Well, how about somebody that had a fight that we did not need to see with the team that was eliminated by the cemetery by the bar? I'm going to go with Chauncey and Amber. Honestly, how did you feel about Chauncey? I'm not necessarily putting them there. About Amber making it kind of about her with the whole Michelle kind of snapping at her at the reveal of the names going into the zone.
I mean, at first watch, I was very confused at what happened and if it was being blown up more so than what it was. But after rewatching it, it was pretty snappy of Michelle. And it sounds like there was certain things that have happened prior to that, that maybe Michelle has had this like times where she has been a little bit more snappy. She does play a little bit more emotional than some players. So I feel like two emotional players of Amber and Michelle could be the start of a hurricane in some ways. But I don't know. I for it to not really go much of anywhere was kind of weird. It kind of gave me the vibes of the Raven and Johnny fight in the bar, that maybe we were missing something extra. Like if they would have peppered in some of those moments that Amber was talking about when she was like, well, she does that sometimes. And I don't think it warrants for her to talk to me like that sometimes. It's like, if we would have had those peppered in randomly to the point where we got to this point, it would have had a bigger payoff, I think, in the end. But for it to not really go anywhere, but it got multiple scenes of it to where we get a scene of Amber and Chauncey together alone talking about it. It felt a little bit out of left field, in my opinion. So that was just
It felt a little bit
weird.
out of who cares, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
I
It
just
was
did
weird.
not care. And yes, it was a little bit snappy. Okay. But like, why does that have to affect you? Like, it's so like, I know that like I don't take things that personally. I mean, I can, I have before, but even how I respond to something that personal, I just like shut them off. We won't talk again, and we're done. That's fine. But like, I just wish that she just didn't let it affect her so much, because the girl is going through something. Like, don't take it in. Don't take it personally. It's not about you. Like, you were just caught in the crossfires because, like, if it were me, I would be like, don't fucking touch me right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that might be how I snapped. And then Amber would be like, oh my God, she snapped at me when I'm just trying to give her a hug. Well, she doesn't want a fucking hug right now. She doesn't want, like, anyways, I get it. It was rude and a little bit snappy. Absolutely. But I really just wish that Amber didn't take it personally.
Yeah.
It wasn't that big of a deal. Yes, I agree to Danny. It should have stayed on the underroom floor because it was a whole pile of who cares, in my opinion. Okay, so I've been biding some time here to figure out where I want to put them. Oh, geez, Louise. I think I'm going to put scapegoat for them. They seem like, even with this whole Michelle thing, like they're kind of like the scapegoat for everything. People know that they're going to react emotionally. So I don't think they really care about how Chauncey and Amber feel about certain things. I think that they will be thrown in if necessary. I think the only reason why they didn't get thrown in this time around is just to make Nelson have to make this decision, or something like that. But I don't know. I just feel like they're the scapegoat. I feel like nobody's really cares if they're playing the game. Nobody's really protecting them. Now that Michelle and Jay are actually gone, they don't really have anybody on their side, I don't think. Nobody seems to want to be working with them. So I'm going to put them as scapegoat. Unless you prove otherwise.
Well, I was thinking a scapegoat or the big long having their balloon popped on them, because it seemed like Michelle was Amber's closest friend in the house, and now she is gone, to the point where it's kind of like, I don't know, set in reality that maybe her game is kind of on a little bit of a downward spiral. Her balloon has popped in the sense that she has no more alliances in the house. She did get out of the way of elimination this week, but I mean, who's to say that she couldn't just be sent in over and over and over again and then be sent directly in? Because, like you were saying, she has no real friends left in the game or anybody really looking out for her. I mean, Nelson definitely isn't looking out for her, especially after he welcomes her to the challenge in the intro of the show, saying, "Welcome to the challenge, Amber. I had to throw you in." So it just feels like maybe she needs. I feel like it's more of a panic alarm than say scapegoat, and maybe she needs to be on high
You
alert
know what? You
moving
sold me
forward.
here. You sold me here because like everything is always happening to Amber, right? Like
Yeah.
there's always things, and that's why a lot of people's gripe with her is that she, not that she plays a victim, but she's always talking about how people have done her wrong, and they may be true, but hearing about it just gets a little bit tiring. So that is like someone stealing her toys. Like they stole her toys, they put her into nomination. Her friend is snapping at her, and nobody understands. Like I think you're right.
Yeah.
A lot of things just keep on happening to her. I agree. You sold me here on this.
That's a really good point. Like the last 2 weeks is very much like that whole list right there.
Say the whole thing again, Drew.
I'm not saying the whole thing.
Okay,
all right.
Who's next?
Let's just get it over with. I'm going to take another layup, and I'm going to go with Casey and Kenny. Built for comfort. Sell it. The couch is here for fluffing up and just being put aside. I mean, no confessionals. There are 9 teams left. I mean, there are so few teams left. You would think just one confessional, at least from Casey, giving a routine of what are we doing in this daily challenge? Tell us of who's doing what. Nothing. She is getting nothing. All we see, they're put in the montage of people going back and forth and completing this challenge, and they're put behind Nelson DQing to then just show them and her brother fumbling the keys and being DQ'd. And all we hear from Casey this episode is, "Oh man," from the background. Done. Built for comfort. You're done. Just over. Nowhere to go but down.
They are built for comfort. They're just not doing anything. I can't even think of like, okay, obviously not queen for the day. They did not do anything for that title. Stirring the pot, we have not seen them do anything or talk to anybody, talk to us, talk to the cameras. So that can't be it. Suffocating in cake. Were they even in that scene? Like, I don't even remember. Like, did they eat any of the cake? Like, I don't even remember them singing happy birthday to Banana. So they can't be there. I mean, maybe I could make a case for them to be there out of everywhere, but scapegoat, no, I don't think anybody's throwing them in right now necessarily, especially with Jay and Michelle gone. Nobody cares about them enough to be doing anything to them. So yeah, their only spot is either Built for Comfort or Cemetery by the Bar, and they're still in the game. So Built for Comfort's the only spot I can see them in.
I will say that it's going to be very interesting if there is a twist where it's like Bloodlines and they get split up into 2 different teams and Kenny has to fend for himself.
Or
I mean,
Casey goes home.
Yeah, or Casey goes home. Like that's going to be huge if that's how it's going to go. And it's like Casey's game is on the line and Kenny's the only person that can go into the elimination. Now that's going to be very, very interesting to the point where I could see them going home earlier than projected if somebody does that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make it to the final, So Alex joining us first time for a live. My best for the twist is splitting into teams like on Bloodlines, okay? And eliminations will be individual with the losers going into a redemption house until both members of the pair is eliminated.
That's interesting. I didn't even think of that. I'm going to add that to the list. That is super interesting.
So what happens with the people in the redemption house?
maybe they, at a certain point, if they're going to be rejoined, the people in the Redemption House go up against each other in like a purge challenge to maybe where the number one person to win in that daily challenge or elimination can win back into the game and be rejoined with their original partner, maybe.
But what happens to the partner then that's still in the game?
See, Alex just put the ball in our court, and I'm just trying to sell it.
I know.
I didn't come up with this.
I'm just talking it through. No stress, relax. You're sweating. It's like chill.
Well, if it is two teams, then they could still help their team win. Is I guess
okay, that's
they could
true.
still compete and
right.
And then they could still be put up for elimination. And then if both ride or dies
go out,
original pairings go out, then you're just completely out. Like you can't even go into the Redemption House, which would help Casey because I don't think she would ever be targeted. But then you're worried about your brother being able to defend himself against maybe Fessel, maybe Mariah, maybe hopefully he's good at a puzzle. Who knows?
Oh, Lord.
That's an interesting one, though. I didn't even think of that, but that could be an interesting one.
I'm here for it. The only thing is, though, that I would be more interested in seeing Redemption House with the teams that are already gone.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily with who are still left in the game. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
Well, I guess we're going to wait till next week. Yes to Danny, Casey and Kenny, also known as the Snooze Brigade. Yes. Oh my God. No scenes. Like, okay. So Mary's saying 19s means 5 more eliminated. So 14's in the final. That's easily 7 more episodes, but we need to find 12. That's our point, Mary. We need to find 12 episodes or 11.
Yeah, like 11. Maybe the finals are 3 episodes.
Terrible.
Reunion is 2.
No, well, if the reunion is 2, I think we're going into 22 episode territory.
Yeah, I don't know.
We just need. I mean, there probably going to be 2 to be continues. I don't know. We need to find, I think, like 6 episodes, basically.
I don't know. Alex so far is my favorite now. Now because I've talked through so many theories that in my brain I talk myself out of my own theories. So I Alex's idea.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I'm wondering, Luciana, if the guys had to jump, or you had to decide and then you couldn't switch it up. No, but Casey would have decided to do it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. That would have been great. The bad part is we wouldn't even notice if Casey and Kenny went home. The episodes would get the exact they would go the exact same way. Yep. I thought that Kenny was going to end up doing well at the beginning of the daily, and then he dropped the key. I was like, oh, okay. Like, then he didn't do well.
You're the only one that probably thought that going into that, because I did not.
It started off good for like a second, and I was like, ooh, and then I was like, oh. Okay, so where did we put them? All right, they're built for comfort. For comfort, and it seems like Natalie would like to talk about Tori and Devin next. I think we can. Okay. Is there anybody that I want to talk about least, or more or less? Yeah, let's do it. Where am I putting them? Did they even talk that much this episode? Not really.
Devin had 2 confessionals, both during the daily. No, one during the daily and one at the elimination, saying he wanted Michelle and Jay back into the game. And then Tori had 3 total confessionals, I believe. 3 or 4.
Well,
not that much.
Definitely not queen for the day. They didn't do that much. They were top 3 though, correct?
No.
Oh, they didn't make top 3 in the daily? Oh, right. It was right. No. Correct. So they're probably top 4 though, or 5. Did they stir the pot this episode? No. Suffocating in cake? Maybe. As of right now, I'm going to say suffocating in cake for Devin and Tori. As much as we can see what's going on with what they're doing. And it seems like some of the players are starting to figure out what they're doing. I just don't see them getting taken out necessarily next. I know that Tori was like a little bit nervous now that she doesn't have a deal with Michelle and Jay, but Michelle and Jay didn't win. I just think that they're pretty well insulated. I think that they're suffocating in cake, especially now that Michelle and Jay are gone. I just don't see who's coming for them. Nobody.
Maybe Amber and Chauncey, but they need a win.
Yeah. So I feel like they're suffocating in cake.
100%. I can't think of any other place. They're well insulated. Like you were saying, they have no real enemies in the game. Nobody's really on their radar or wanting to target them. And yeah, looking at my list of the possible teams who are going to win dailies, I just don't see them actually getting targeted. So yeah, I agree.
Do you think
they're well insulated?
Stirring the pot for this week, Willie? In general, like obviously Devin is a pot stirrer, but this week I just don't think that he stirred the pot that much.
I don't think he has anybody left in the game that he could want to stir up the drama with. Like he wanted to get on Michelle about Amber, but now Michelle's gone. So there's no more ties to Amber. Like Amber's an island on her own and he's not going to go after her or at least yell at her because Chauncey's in the game and he's afraid that he's going to get pummeled. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I think they're suffocating in cake at this moment.
Yeah, I can't see any other place for them. So, well, then who's going to be next, Drew?
Let's talk about Bananas and Nani. And I have to say that this episode, I would have to put them as well, right next to Devin and Tori. I mean,
which side?
I think to the right. I think they're behind Devin and Tori.
Oh.
Because of the birthday card that Nani decided to make that got everybody questioning them in the confessionals. Why would you do that? Hey, let me just show you what like we all know his resume. You don't have to make everybody remember what his resume is in the middle of the game. Now, don't get me wrong. I think they are well insulated. They're doing pretty well in dailies. But
sorry, I just need to laugh at this, Drew. Sam, not me saying I'm working, but still here on the toilet watching this for the past 5 minutes. That's so dear to my heart, Sam. Thank you so much. I had to cut Drew off because that gave me such a warm and fuzzy feeling in my heart. Sorry, Drew. Continue.
No, it's all good. But yeah, they're suffocating in cake. For the reason that they are well insulated. Nani is the perfect social shield for Bananas, despite putting all of his resume on a card on display for everybody in the house. Yet I still don't think there's a ton of people that are willing to take that shot on them, at least not send them directly into the elimination. I mean, the people that were willing to do that, even last episode, swapped off there because of Nani's pool with Nelson. So I don't think they warranted anything this episode to go higher, in my opinion, but I think that they're still well insulated, despite Nani trying to put his Bananas threat level on blast in front of the whole house.
Why did she do that? And why didn't he get pissed off about that? Because on his pod, he was talking about the fact that he didn't want to, win that daily with the words where he was fighting with Nani because he didn't want to have the power to be throwing people in and making enemies. Like he wanted to kind of hide a little bit. This is not hiding, right? Like putting your stats on that you've won over $1 million in this show, all the, the dailies that you've won, it's just not a stat to share while you're still playing the game. And so I'm shocked that he didn't have some words with her about that. And I'm shocked that she did that. I would think that she would be smarter than that, personally. Do you think the producers forced her to do that? I don't know. Yeah, I agree that there's suffocating in cake, though, literally at this episode. I think I could agree with you that Devin and Tori are suffocating a little bit more or better than they are, just because I do think that people are going to be coming for them. And they have a bigger target, I would say, than Devin and Tori. So yeah, I think the positioning is good as well. Izzy Rocks said, or Iz Rocks says, I hate that MTV's no longer showing the big fights, hookups, or the good drama anymore. What's with that?
They want it to be a sport. They don't want to. They want more of a demographic to watch the show. I feel, especially if they're putting it on the Challenge USA on CBS, they want some of that crowd to go over there, so that they're hoping that Survivor or Big Brother numbers and demographic was watching USA and makes the transition over to MTV. Then they're hoping that they are clean enough, but still entertaining enough, I think, in my opinion, which is the wrong move. It's not
the
working.
Wrong move. We can see that it's the wrong move because it still had the MTV shadiness of it all, but with like the cleanliness of CBS players, that I just don't think that it works. I think that they need to stick to their own lane, be MTV messy. Like, give us what we want. We don't want it to be us. I don't want it to be a sport. I do not. All right.
No.
Oh my God, is it my turn again?
Yes.
Oh, jeez Louise. Another boring team is Fessie and Mariah. Oh boy. Where am I going to put these two? They're so boring. I mean, I could foreseeably put them in Suffocating and Cake because they are boring, but they are insulated. And I'm just gonna start there. I'm gonna start with putting them in Suffocating and Cake. You know, we see that Mariah and Johnny are having some sort of relationship, but we don't see it. But we also see that like Nelson didn't put them in when he really should have. It would have been not really should have, but it would have been great TV if they had. But they're still protected by somebody that could have easily had an excuse to throw in Fessie. As you said, if they were to go in, you do think that there would be help for them to win that elimination against Jay and Michelle. So people want to play with them. We have Casey that wants to play with them. As we mentioned, along with Casey comes Nany, which probably comes Bananas. He has Nelson. I think that he has Anissa a little bit. So yeah, Suffocating Cake. I convinced myself that's where they should be, but in that spot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, looking at both of them, and for how little camera time Mariah is getting, I mean, it sounds like she's also working a lot of the social games and social ties. I mean, she was getting compliments from Amber earlier in the season. She's really close with Nerys, who is really close with Nelson, and also possibly Nerys, who is close with Olivia as well. Mariah is also close with Olivia, being that they are rookies in this game, and this is their first season together. And then you have Mariah getting close with Bananas and Nany, as well as Fessel being close with Casey and Kenny. I mean, they're super tied with everybody. I mean, if they were going to get a shot taken at them, it was going to be Jordan and Anissa this episode, which was, or even Amber and Chauncey, maybe because of their history with each other. But overall, you needed to win. And I feel like those are the only two teams. And lucky for Jordan and Anissa, they were going into a daily where Jordan could do 90 to 95% of the daily for them. So I think that you put them in the exact right spot. I couldn't see putting them anywhere else, even with Fessie's temper tantrum in the room as he was going back and forth talking about how if Anissa wants to play this game, I'll play this game. I was looking for any excuse. Like, all right, dude. Like, you would have easily put them in if you had won that daily. Easily.
It's like in the interrogation, I would have been like, so if you were to won this round, who would you put? Who were the 4 people that you would have put in? And just to hear what he had to say.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he might lie and be like, oh, well, I wouldn't have put you in. And I'm like, well, who would you have put in? And I would have loved to hear that because he would have been sweating. All right, Drew. It's up to you. Who next?
Oh man, this is difficult. You know, this is actually very difficult because we could talk a lot about each one of these 3 teams that are left. I want to first talk about, I guess we'll just go with whoever didn't win this episode, and that was Nelson and Nerys. Oh, man. This was tricky. This was tricky in the sense that, man, I really want to put them in. I want to put them in scapegoat for right now. And I want to hear what you have to say. I think scapegoat's good neutral, but I can see moving forward that Nelson and Nerys, if they do not win, because they did draw a line in the sand the last time that they won, and this is the first episode since the last time that they won, to where I think they drew a line in the sand the previous week, and coming into this week, I felt like they needed to win, or Jay and Michelle needed to win, or they're going to be targeted. And they were. They were instantly targeted. They were put in not necessarily directly into the elimination, but now that they've gotten their feet wet in the elimination grounds, in the zone, who's to say that Bananas and Nani, who were really mad at Nelson for putting them in with Casey, that they're like, well, screw you. Now I'm going to, or was that Jay and Michelle? I'm confused. I'm mixing up weeks now, I think. But they're still mad at Nelson, I think last week, because they were nominated to go into the elimination. That's
well,
right.
Nani in the 11th hour was saying, like, please don't, you're my brother. Like, I would never do that to you, to be the vote. But they were always going to be going into the zone. Sorry, go ahead.
No. That was perfect. Thank you for interrupting me, because I was having a meltdown in my brain. But they have so many people that could have a reason to say their names. Not only Jordan and Anissa, but Devin and Tori could say, well, not Devin and Tori, but Bananas and Nani, Amber and Chauncey, Casey and Kenny. I mean, there's so many people now that if they win, they could easily say Nelson and Nerys, and possibly Devin and Tori next week. If we remember from what the preview is to next week, it doesn't look like things are going to be good for them, because at this point in the game, there's going to be a lot of pot stirring moving forward. So I just think they're in a really tough position and a very integral part of the game. And I think this episode and moving forward, they're going to be looked at as the scapegoat.
I mean, I see scapegoat for sure. I'm thinking though, maybe more stirring the pot, because I do think that there's going to be a fallout from this, with Olivia. Like, I know Olivia's like, oh, I'm not going to allow someone to like disrespect me like that. Like, it's fine that he's doing it for games, but like, I'm not going to be that girl that's going to keep coming back and like fawning over him. And so, I feel as though he might have stirred the pot a little bit with saving Fessie, especially with people being like, you have such a good reason to put him in, and like people are talking about this move and what he should and shouldn't have done. So I feel like that, because it's caused so much conversation, could be stirring the pot. What do you think?
It could be. If the intent was there, I would be more apt to give it stirring the pot. It was more like Nelson and Nerys were both like, I do not want the safe dagger, because they knew they were safe on either side. For somebody to be that upset by being safe was just ridiculous, to the point where I was like, oh man, like you just kind of shot yourself in the foot at this point. And taking so long. I mean, Fessie was happy to not go into elimination, but he could come back and be like, it took you so long to say my name. What the heck was that all about?
Yeah,
same
exactly.
thing if he would have picked Olivia. So yeah, I could see where it could be stirring the pot. I just think that's really high up on the tier list.
It's too high.
I can see where you're coming from.
It's too high. We'll give it scapegoat. I'm just trying to give a little bit of opposition here without agreeing with your scapegoat pick. But yeah, I think that the scapegoat is kind of where they are. I think that everybody has a good reason to throw them in next round, or they can make one up that it will be fine. So I can be like, yeah, you did it to us, or yeah, you took too long, or yeah, like there's nobody else left to choose from, or yeah, like there's just a lot of reasons to be able to throw them in. So yeah, I think they're going to be an easy scapegoat to fill up, if there's still going to be 4 spots to fill up, like to fill up one of 4, because there's just, are there really like that? There's no teams left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams, 8 teams.
There's
8 teams. Yeah,
8 teams. Yeah, there's 8 teams.
That's so
16
little.
people, 8 teams. Yeah, it is. If
So
this
I
was
mean, the
like a
fact
back in the day, like X's season where there's 12 episodes, perfect. Like we're going the right amount. But nowadays it's like 16 to 21 episodes nowadays. So that's where the real theory of like what is happening? What's gonna go on?
I hope it's good. Please make it good. Please keep Ride or Die theme intact. Please make it good. Please, please don't ruin it. All right. So between the winners of the daily and the winners of the elimination, I think that I will start with Olivia and Horacio. I mean, I love what they're bringing to the table. I really wish that Horacio was able to do better in the daily. It seems as though we didn't really know this about him, but Olivia says that he kind of chokes under pressure. And I was like, is that going to be something that's going to happen again and again? Because I never thought of him as someone that chokes under pressure, but she says that's kind of like something that she's used to about him. I think that they're also going to be kind of a scapegoat. As much as I love and enjoy them, I do think that it's just easy for everybody to throw them in. They don't get offended. They don't have any leverage. They don't, have anybody that they're really working with that's strong that can protect them. So I think that they can be thrown in pretty much every single time. So as much as I love them, and I think that they're a great rookie team, probably the best we've ever seen. I do think that they're going to be a scapegoat because I would imagine that unless Chauncey and Amber win the daily, they're going in to the zone, at least.
Yeah, I can agree with you. I feel like at this point in the game, if they do not win a daily, they will be nominated at least, maybe not sent directly in, but even then, Olivia is nervous when talking to Horacio before going to the elimination, where she's like, I wouldn't put it past any vet to one nominate us every single week and then send us directly into the elimination. Like I wouldn't put that past anybody, even if they say they really enjoy us and they really like us, which is the scary part. But they almost seem like they're doing the dirty work of all the vets. They'll send them in. They're happy that they'll go in. They know they could win, and they'll also help them to win. So there, it's basically taking whoever nominated and sent the person directly into the elimination. It's getting kind of what they really wanted to happen. Kind of like Jordan and Nisa send Jay and Michelle directly in, and then they're going to help Olivia and Horacio try to win. Because that's somebody now that could say my name in the future, gone. And now we helped you, so now you can't be mad at us because you just won the elimination. They're just doing everybody's dirty work for them. I really wanted to put them in Queen for the Day coming into this because they did win their third elimination this season. Everybody likes them. They got some celebration from Jordan in the interrogation saying you're not lucky to be here. You're good. That's why you're still here. But I hate to say it, but even with their third elimination win, and people are putting another asterisk on this one as well, I do think that they're scapegoats.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to say that they're Queen for the Day, but just for the fact that what you just said right now, two of their eliminations, they were helped by the entire house. Not to say that they couldn't win on their own, but we don't know. We don't know for sure if they would have won. So I can't, if they didn't have the help from the audience, maybe I could throw them in Queen for the Day, but they had help from everybody. And so go ahead.
I was just going to say that now going forward, you think of who was in this week's draw, Nelson and Nerys, the team that would most likely save Olivia and Horacio from going into elimination, yet they did not do it. So looking at my list of who's left in this game, who would in the draw, if they were to pick the safe dagger, save them instead of throwing them directly in kind of vibe. And I just don't see, I think everybody else's bonds are way stronger than what they are with
Amber and
Olivia.
Chauncey.
Maybe Amber and Chauncey for sure, but yeah, I worry for them moving forward.
They're going in every time, most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely. But hey, man, they're having a spectacular rookie season, so they should be happy with how it's going.
Yeah.
even though it's been hard for them, but like they should when they should be really happy that they're getting this edit, that like they're getting this much
Oh, heck yeah.
respect. Like they're doing a really great job for the return call, and that's what you want, kind of, at least in your rookie season. Olivia seems to be the one freaking out under pressure in both this elimination and their first elimination against Turbo. Before they got help, Olivia didn't know what to do. She does get a little frazzled in the beginning. I could see that.
I do think that it's weird that she said that, knowing the show that Horacio is coming from, which is basically a challenge-esque type show, but it's more like a one-on-one sometimes during his shows. Like he'll be doing an obstacle course and trying to knock down a whole bunch of like bottles at the end of it against one other person, and you either win or you lose, and it's timed. So to me, that's way more pressure than just running on top of cars, but he's also just competing against somebody by himself, whereas he's also thinking about Olivia's in this game. I have to do everything for her. So maybe that's the added pressure comparatively to his original show. But I don't know.
Me neither. I haven't watched it at all. All right, last up. Who you got? Where are you putting them?
We got Jordan and Anissa. All right. Now, let's be real. I feel like this team could go in all different tiers here. We could easily put them in Queen for the Day for winning the daily challenge. We could put them in pot stirring for how they decided to conduct their nominations, putting Nelson in a very bad spot, getting Fessil all riled up, and then making him sweat it out while Nelson is trying to figure out. Also, Jay's in the elimination. So there's all types of Nelson's friendships in the game. We can also put them in Scapegoat because they have been nominated and seen eliminations before. I don't want to put them in Queen for the Day because of the way the daily challenge was set up. We're not going to get that every single week. They're not going to get that lucky every single week where Jordan is going to be the one jumping off of the building or running on top of cars, and that's it, because that is their strength on this game.
Jordan.
I would, yeah, Jordan. I would like to put them in pot stirring for this week because they did win and they used their power to make Nelson, Fessel, Jay, Michelle, all of them squirm and put them in a really tough position, especially moving forward. Like, what's going to happen next week with Nelson and Olivia? What's going to happen with Fessel now looking at Anissa and rethinking everything that he's doing? I think that they did get a threat out of Jay and Michelle because they were winning. They were getting close to winning again and possibly sending them in. But at the end of the day, I also think that they were stirring the pot more so than ever before. I think of Anissa saying, let's play this game big at the end of the deliberation. And I feel like that's just what you need to do when you want to get the house all riled up. And so that's where I would put them.
Again, I guess we're in lockstep today, Drew, because I agree with stirring the pot for them. Yeah, of course they could be a scapegoat. I do see the potential of them going in again, even as soon as next week. I don't see people being that scared of throwing them in, even though they did just come back from winning an elimination, then come directly back to win the daily. I still don't think that they are feared by people in this particular game. I wouldn't say that they're suffocating in Cake, just for the fact that like they're not that insulated. Like they are, but they're not at the same time. People are willing to say their name. They're willing to throw them in. So they're not as comfortable as the other three teams that we have in that spot, I would say. So stirring the pot, though, just the fact that like Jordan just like kind of low cackle when Jay and Michelle come into the interrogation room. He's just like, so what do you want to do? Like that is just so antagonistic and pot stirring esque. I don't really see any other spot to put them in this week. Yeah, I know she's built for comfort. I mean, she was pretty comfortable in that front seat of the car. But she was willing to make these moves this week. So she's definitely doing a lot more than Casey and Kenny. Both of them are.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this week people are stealing their toys and knocking ice cream out of their hands. So I think that the only real spot where that's fitting for them is stirring the pot.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. Especially
agreed.
with everybody being able to help Olivia and Horacio. I mean, Olivia going into that didn't even really know, or she was too frazzled to know the rules or remember the rules of you can't put a bigger piece on top of a smaller piece. And they instantly helped them to get that win and get the disadvantage on Michelle and Jay to where they were ultimately get what they wanted. But it came with so many, I don't know, there were so many conveniences, or I don't know what I'm trying to say, but everything like played exactly perfectly for Jordan and Anissa to win the daily challenge, be able to nominate who they wanted to nominate, and then have an elimination where the crowd could help who they wanted to help and get the outcome that they wanted to. It just was too perfect of everything to happen this episode for Jordan and Nisa that I can't say that they were the ones that were able to
Do it
like
on their own.
do solid, do the best that they could to make Queen for the day. I think that it's more pot stirring at this moment.
Yeah, I am going to have to agree with you, Drew. Taj, I totally get your point here. That they got what they wanted and they won the daily, absolutely. But like Drew said, Jordan won the daily. It wasn't like the duo. So I mean, we can't really reward them that much for both of them being queen for the day. And yes, they got to send Jay and Michelle home, but like you said, they had the help of the entire house. So did they really, like, if the house didn't help them out, would they have gotten their target out? We don't know. So it's kind of hard that with having an asterisk beside your episode to give you queen for the day. And there wasn't something that stood out glaringly that was super awesome that you did on your own or they did on their own as a duo that would warrant that for me. So
yeah,
I'm agreeing with you, Drew. All right. Well, if you have any thoughts, though, still let us know what you think of these tiers and if anybody else should move while we move on to the part of this recap power rankings that I hate the most, where we show how poorly I am doing in our draft.
All right. So we'll start off with who's in third place, which is, I'm sorry to say, Team Chantele. Last week you came in at 203, and this week your current score, your updated score, is 221 points. You went up 18 points.
I can't even go up 20 fucking points. It's so annoying.
Casey and Kenny now are the lowest team still, but they are even lower now from last week with 7 points now, total points. But Bananas and Nani are your top scoring team with 81 total points. So coming in second place, what is good news is that Chris did lose his top scoring team this week. He only has 2 teams left in this game. So Jay and Michelle was his top scoring team with 116 total points. He started this week with 276 points. He's now finishing it with 324 total points. So he's in second place.
He's already lapped me 100, more than 100. Oh my god.
103, yeah. But again, he lost. He only has 2 teams left, and he lost his top scoring team.
I basically only have 2 teams left. Okay.
I mean, you have 3 teams. You don't know what's going to happen with this twist.
I said basically.
But he has Nelson and Nerys with 101 points, and Fessel and Mariah now with 52 points as his 2 last remaining teams on his team. And I am currently in first place. Last week, I had 330 points. This week, I have 384 points.
Oh my god, are you going to like 200-point lead soon? Like next week? Oh my god, go ahead.
I benefit the most out of this episode with Anissa and Jordan winning the daily and Olivia and Horacio winning the elimination. Olivia and Horacio are my top scoring teams with 111 points. And my lowest scoring team is Tori and Devin with 87 total points.
So your lowest scoring team has more than my highest scoring team. Great.
That I didn't even think of that or notice that, but yes, you are correct.
Yes, I am correct. Thank you.
Yes.
Wait, did you actually brag, or are they just teasing you? Drew's bragging about how good his fantasy draft is.
I'm not bragging.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just still shocked that I got Olivia and Horacio as the last team I picked in that draft, though.
I feel like that was a team that I wanted to. I was hoping that it would come back to me. I feel like I wanted to take them, like, whatever. I can't remember which order we did. I should watch that again. But, like, I feel like I wanted to take them. Can't remember what happened, though. Anyways,
yeah,
doesn't matter. I took Kenny and Casey, thinking that having winners on my team would be good. Like, literally, I have 3 winners on my team and are doing so terribly. Oh my gosh.
I mean, Amber and Chauncey have been picking it up. The
how many points do they have?
Lowest scoring team, they have 57 total points.
So they have less than Fessie and Mariah.
No, they have more. Fessel and Mariah only have 52 points. So they're the second lowest team.
That is supposed to make me feel better.
Oh man. Casey and Kenny are like they are terrible. Let me think of this. Kendall on All Stars 2 had 7 points when she was eliminated in episode 5. We are on episode 8, and Casey and Kenny have 7 points. That is crazy. I'm honest. That's crazy to me.
It's almost like unfair. No matter what, even if I hear that that Casey is going to win the global tournament, even if I hear that as a rumor, I will not choose Casey ever again. Ever.
I think we all know that Casey, whatever, like, is just will be the last pick, and everybody will be vying for not to get her.
Like she's gonna be ridiculous. The sabotage from now on. Oh. All right. Well, do you know what? Since you're leading the points, let's stump you. We're gonna play a little game that I like to call Confessionals Count. And so we're just basically going to just read little bits of people's confessionals this episode, and you are going to tell me who said it. We kind of played something like this or similar to this earlier on in the season, so I thought I'd bring it on back. And I think you're going to do pretty well, but we'll soon find out. So who said in their confessional, "I'm sneaky good at stuff like this"?
I think that was Devin. On the
correct. Devin talking about you're sweating already.
No, I remember that one because I rolled my eyes when he said that. I was like, whatever, dude. You're not even in the top 3 at the end of this.
Who said in their confessional, "I'm on cloud 9 right now"?
That was Amber.
That was Amber. You are correct. 2 for 2, Drew. Who said in their confessional, "This guy needs to retire"?
That was Chauncey. I remember
it was Chauncey. Look at you, Drew. Okay. Who said in their confessional, "It's getting to the point where you have to say friends' names"?
I believe that was Fessel.
It was Fessel. Good job. Who said in their confessional, "We are definitely collateral damage"?
All right, so it's one of 2 people. And I think it was Horacio.
Horacio is correct. Drew is on a roll. Who said in their confessional, They are a wild card to me. I don't know where their head is in this game. I feel like they are doing whatever to get by, making deals, and I just don't like that shit.
I'm going to say Amber. She's
It
talking about
was
Devin.
Amber. Yes, talking about Devin and Tori. Who said in their confessional, watching him perform is pretty attractive?
Ugh. Nerese. Said that about Jordan.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Who says in their confessional, if you cross the line with me or my ride or die, then I will come for you?
I'm going to say Amber.
It was Amber. Drew was really watching these confessionals this week. Who said in their confessional, we're both smart enough to know we're stronger together?
That was Fessel when he was talking to Nelson.
It was Fessel. Are you a Fessel fan now? Is this why you know every word that he says?
No.
You can repeat everything that he says. Who said in their confessional, I'm almost terrified for my life?
Ooh, this is a good one. I almost said Kenny, but I know he didn't get anything. I'm gonna say, I don't know, Nani.
Close. Bananas said this. Bananas said this.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Who said the thing I trust more is Bananas' willingness to do whatever he has to do for himself to win?
That was Tori.
It was Tori. See you next week, Christina. Who said we better get some more wins?
Michelle.
Close. Jay.
Oh, it was one of the two.
Who said now is the time for us to get it together and start winning?
Interesting. I'm going to say Amber.
Nerese.
Oh, that's right. The pool
yeah,
scene.
in the pool. Who says, welcome to the challenge? You'll know this one.
That was Nelson.
Yes.
He says that to a champ. Get out of here, Nelson.
Who says, our friendship is like this? It's like a roller coaster.
It's Nelson. His analogies this season. Enough, man.
Yes. It would actually be really bad if they won today. Who said this?
I mean, anybody could have said that. Let's say Bananas.
Tori said that.
Okay.
Who said, I'm tired of hearing Johnny Bananas wins again?
That was Jay.
Yes, it was very Jay. He always sounds like that. So upset all the time. Who said, this is easy. Now I don't have to look out for you in this game.
That was Fessel.
Correct. It was.
So annoying.
Who says it's getting to the point where you have to say friends' names? Did I say this already?
I think so. Fessel?
Yeah. Okay, what about, I don't believe in revenge necessarily, but this time I'm going to be a petty bitch.
That was Anissa.
Yes. I did enjoy that line, just saying. Who said my name doesn't look right on the board?
That was Mariah. And that's where I definitely rolled my eyes hard. Vessel's name doesn't look right on the board. My name doesn't look right on the board. What's going on?
Who said that kind of favor doesn't last long?
I think That was Anissa talking about Fessel, and I agree with her. That was everybody's using that excuse now, and it's just like so dumb.
It's like
I
that was
could have
like
said your
2
name.
months ago.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Who said it's best if anyone else wins besides them?
Michelle.
Nani said this actually about Jay and Michelle.
Really?
Who said they know what they have to do and making it look easy?
Or Horacio.
Horacio did say this. This is correct. Who said we have been doing everything perfectly? Everything has been working out.
Who's been working perfectly? Who's been doing it well? I'm gonna say Devin.
Nerys said that.
Really?
It was right before the pool scene.
Oh, okay.
Who said, ew, I don't want to be catching feelings like this?
Olivia.
Of course.
For sure.
Who said, I'm just so grateful that I have him by my side?
Oh, man. Nani?
Yes, it was Nani.
Yeah.
Who said, that's the kind of woman you want by your side?
That's Nelson.
Of course it's Nelson.
Yeah.
Who said, I love everything that's adrenaline, so I think that this is our challenge?
Jay?
Horacio.
Oh, man.
Do I have any more? Maybe it's time to put a knife in his back. Who said that?
Nelson.
Nelson did say that, and maybe it is time, Nelson. Maybe it is time.
The time has passed, it seems.
Yeah, it's over now. And now he's going to skate to the end and think he's a really good player. It's so annoying. Who said he is running through every single car like he does this every single day?
Was that Nelson?
That was Nerys talking about Jordan.
Nerys.
Who says they've already done it to us? Why wouldn't they do it again?
Jordan.
Anissa, close.
Dang. 50-50. I knew it was one of them.
You were close. I believed you. You knew what was happening. Oh my god, do I have any more? How do you get them all? You're so good.
I didn't get them all. I lost a few of them, but
you got like at least 80%. Right now, I'm feeling vulnerable. I'm feeling hurt.
Is that Olivia?
That was Michelle.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that storyline came back to bite me.
Yeah. I don't remember if I said this one yet, but who in their confessional said it kind of feels like a big weight has been lifted off my shoulders?
Fessel?
It was Fessel.
I don't know what made me say that, but
because you're obsessed with him.
No, I'm not.
Who said we have so much in common and I'm excited to get to know him?
That's Nerys. While they were dancing. While they
Yes,
were dancing in the club.
That's it. That is correct. You are on the money, Drew. You did a great job this week. I appreciate your attention to detail every episode. You always exceed my expectations and do very well on my little quizzes to try and stump you. So thank you for participating.
Thank you for doing confessionals this week.
Next week might be different. Next week. Sometimes I'm like, I have to just think of something easy. So, you know what I mean? I'm like, instead of like coming up with something more convoluted. But that's all we have for you today. So do you have anything about the episode that we didn't talk about that you want to say?
Not this episode. I just want to show or share how excited I am about next episode to finally get about this twist. Because right now, I like Alex's idea of the twist. There was some in my comment section that I know that I've been getting notifications on all day about this twist, and it's getting me think about my own theories and everything. So I just can't wait until we get that next episode so we can like break down this twist, whether we like it or we don't. I'm sure everybody's gonna have an opinion about it. So I'm excited to get into it with you next week whenever we do get the episode. So
I know I do really want to know what the heck they're going to do, and I really want to like it. I really hope that I like it. I really hope that I like it. But know what I do like? I do like doing this on Fridays with you, Drew. So thank you for being here. I know we're at an earlier time, but everybody that's here in the chat, thank you for showing up, even though we're a good 6 hours earlier, 5 hours earlier than our regular time slot. I'm so happy to chat with you about this episode and go through our power rankings and my dismal draft team. But we'll be back next week to see if I can maybe catch up to Chris. Maybe. We'll see. I doubt
hopefully.
it. I doubt it. I don't even know what I could do to catch up to you even. Like all your teams would just have to go and I would only have my teams have confessionals, basically. For the next 12 episodes. So anyways, please like this video and leave a comment, as I think we asked for this last week, maybe not, but what do you think is going to happen with this twist? I want to hear all the different ideas. No spoilers, please, only speculation. Or if you've sussed anything out from any of the trailers that you've seen, like as to what it could be. Definitely if you sleuthed it, I would love to hear what you think the twist might be. But if you flat out know what's going to go down, I would prefer that you save it until we all know what is actually going down. So please leave your thoughts and ideas to what you think is going to happen in the twist next week. Drew, what do you have going on this week?
This week is an edited version of this will be going up on Monday on my channel, as well as a short on Tuesday, review and recap of the episode of the Challenge Ride or Dies on Thursday, Tiny Table Talk on Friday for the Challenge Ride or Dies, and then some Patreon videos in between, and looking forward to the future. So the rest of 2022, heading into 2023. I can't believe we're getting to that point already.
The nitty gritty's coming up. End of 2022.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Drew. We'll see everybody next week. You guys are the bomb. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel as well as Angelcake Entertainment channel and hit those notifications because, like, look at this. Today we went live a little bit earlier and the people were able to join us because they probably get the notifications. So hit those notification bells so that you are informed if things change in the schedule. But other than that, we should be back at our regular time next week, 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday, where we'll talk about this darn twist. Ciao, guys.